The balloons hung limply from the ceiling by the time I finally took them down. Pink and silver, Lily's favorite colors, still inflated but somehow looking deflated anyway. I stood on the kitchen chair, carefully peeling away the tape, trying not to let the tears that had been threatening all evening finally fall. The untouched birthday cake sat on the counter, 7 candles clustered in the center like a small forest of wishes that would never be made. Lily was upstairs in her room, still wearing her party dress. The lavender one with the tulle skirt that made her feel like a princess. She'd picked it out 3 weeks ago, spinning in front of the department store mirror with such joy that I'd bought it without even checking the price tag. Now it would forever be the dress she wore to the birthday party no one came to. Not no one. That wasn't fair. Her 3 school friends had come, bless them. Little Emma and Sophie and Marcus, who'd eaten cake and played games and sung happy birthday with the kind of enthusiastic joy only 7-year-olds can muster. But they'd left by 5. According to YouTube analytics, 99% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. Picked up by their parents, who had weekend plans. The party was supposed to continue. The real party, with family. My sister Rachel had promised she'd be there by 4 with her twins. My brother David swore he wouldn't miss it, said his daughter Zoe was so excited to see her cousin. My parents had confirmed twice, said they wouldn't dream of missing their granddaughter's 7th birthday. Even my cousin Jennifer had RSVP'd yes, along with her husband and their 2 boys. 4 o'clock came and went, then 5, then 6. The text started around 5:30. Rachel first. So sorry, the twins both came down with something. Can't risk getting Lily sick. Rain check? Then David. Hey, Zoe's soccer game went into overtime, and now we're stuck in traffic. Won't make it, sorry. My parents called at 6. Mom's voice was bright, chipper, completely unapologetic. Sweetheart, we completely forgot about that charity auction we committed to months ago. You know how it is, we couldn't back out. We'll take Lily out next weekend, okay? Cousin Jennifer didn't even bother with an excuse. Just, can't make it, something came up. I sat at the kitchen table with my phone in my hand, staring at these messages, feeling something cold and hard settling in my chest. Lily had asked me 4 times between 5 and 6 when everyone was coming. The first time, I'd said soon. The second time, they were running late. The third time, there was traffic. The fourth time, I'd gone upstairs and told her gently that sometimes grown-ups have things that come up, and it wasn't because they didn't love her. She'd nodded with the kind of understanding that no child should have to have and said, "It's okay, Mommy. Emma and Sophie and Marcus came. That was fun." Then she'd closed her door, and I'd heard her crying through the wood. That was when I'd come downstairs and started taking down the decorations, my hands shaking with something that felt like rage but tasted like grief. The next morning, I woke to 17 messages in the family group chat. Rachel, hey everyone, great news! David and I found the perfect beach house for our annual family reunion. It's right on the water, 6 bedrooms, sleeps 16, available the last week of July. My mother, oh how wonderful! Send the link. David, looks amazing. What's the damage? Rachel, so it's $11,100 for the week. I know it sounds like a lot, but split between all of us, it's totally reasonable. I broke it down. Mom and Dad, that's $1,850. David, you and Claire and Zoe, that's $1,850. Me and Tom and the twins, same. Jennifer, you and Mike and the boys, $1,850. And Sarah, you and Lily, $1,850. That's only 5 families, so we'll actually have plenty of space. I stared at my phone, reading the message 3 times to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding. My mother, that sounds perfect. We're in. David, yeah, we can swing that. Lily will love the beach. Jennifer, count us in. Rachel, great. Sarah, you in? I need to book it today or we'll lose it. Everyone can Venmo me by the end of the week. I set my phone down on the counter, picked it up again, put it down. Lily was eating cereal at the table, still quiet from yesterday, and I didn't want her to see my face. The audacity was breathtaking. They'd all skipped her birthday party, my daughter's 7th birthday party, with flimsy excuses and no real apologies. And now, less than 24 hours later, they wanted me to fork over nearly $2,000 for a vacation they'd planned without asking me first. I walked into the living room and typed carefully, "I'm going to have to pass this year. money's tight right now, which was true. I was a single mom, had been since Lily's father decided being a parent was too hard when she was 2. I worked as a medical billing specialist. Decent money, but not beach house rental money, not with rent and childcare and student loans and all the other expenses of keeping us afloat. The response was immediate. Rachel, Sarah, come on, it's only 1,850. You can't miss the family reunion. David, yes, Sar, you've got months to save up. It's family. We do this every year. My mother called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again. And again. Finally, I answered. Sarah, what is this nonsense about not coming? Her voice had that edge to it, the one that used to make me fold immediately when I was younger. Mom, I can't afford it right now. And honestly, after yesterday what? Everyone had legitimate reasons for missing Lily's little party. You can't hold that against us. Little party? Mom, she cried herself to sleep. Children are resilient. She'll be fine. But this is about family, Sarah. You can't just opt out of family because you're being sensitive. I'm not being sensitive. I literally cannot afford to spend 1,850 on a vacation right now. Then put it on a credit card, or ask for overtime. Or, I don't know, Sarah, figure it out. We all make sacrifices for family. You can't expect us to exclude you. You're not excluding me. I'm making a choice based on my budget. She hung up on me. The text continued throughout the day. Rachel sent me links to personal loan sites. David suggested I could drive down just for a long weekend, and they'd reduce my share to $200. Jennifer sent a passive-aggressive message about how some people don't prioritize family. My father finally called that evening. Sarah, your mother is very upset. I understand that, Dad. This vacation is important to her, to all of us. It's about keeping the family together. The family wasn't very together yesterday, Dad. Silence. Then, your mother told me about that. Look, things come up. You can't hold a grudge. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm making a financial decision. It seems like you're punishing everyone. No, Dad. I'm just saying I can't afford it. Well, his voice went cold. I suppose we all know where we stand then. He hung up too. I should have known it wouldn't end there. 3 days later, my doorbell rang at 8 in the morning on a Saturday. Lily was watching cartoons in her pajamas. I was still in my robe, coffee in hand. I opened the door to find 2 police officers standing on my porch. Ma'am, are you Sarah Mitchell? My stomach dropped. Yes? What's wrong? Is someone hurt? We received a call about a theft. May we come in? A theft? I don't understand. The older officer, a woman with kind eyes, looked uncomfortable. Your mother filed a report stating that you stole $1,150 from her and are refusing to return it. The coffee cup nearly slipped from my hand. What? May we come in and discuss this? I let them in, my mind reeling. Lily looked up from the TV, eyes wide with fear at seeing police officers in our living room. I sent her upstairs, then turned to face them. I haven't stolen anything from my mother. I have no idea what she's talking about. The younger officer consulted his notes. She claims she gave you $1,150 for a family vacation rental, and you're now refusing to forward the money to your sister, who made the booking. Understanding crashed over me like cold water. That's not what happened at all. Let me explain. I told them everything. The birthday party, the texts, the demand for money I never agreed to pay, the harassment when I said I couldn't afford it. The female officer's expression shifted as I talked, something like recognition in her eyes. The male officer looked increasingly annoyed, but not at me. Ma'am, do you have these text messages? The woman asked. I pulled out my phone and showed them the entire group chat thread. They read through it carefully. So, you never agreed to pay any amount? And your mother never gave you any money? No, nothing. I told them from the start I couldn't afford it. The officers exchanged a look. The woman sighed. This isn't a theft, ma'am. This is a family dispute. Your mother filed a false police report. Can she do that? She did do it. Whether she should have is another question. The woman handed me a card. If this harassment continues, you can file a report yourself, but I'd suggest trying to resolve this within your family first. After they left, I sat on the couch and shook. Lily came downstairs, crawled into my lap even though she was getting too big for it, and asked, Mommy, are you in trouble? No, baby. Everything's fine. Just a misunderstanding. But everything wasn't fine. My phone exploded. Rachel, furious that the police had wasted everyone's time because I wouldn't just pay what I owed. David, telling me I was tearing the family apart. My mother, in a voicemail that lasted 4 minutes, telling me how embarrassed she was, how I'd humiliated her, how I was selfish and ungrateful. Jennifer sent a message to the group chat. Honestly, maybe it's better Sarah doesn't come. She clearly doesn't value family anyway. I typed out 17 different responses and deleted them all. Finally, I wrote, I love you all, but I'm going to remove myself from this group chat for a while. I hope you have a wonderful vacation. Then I muted the conversation and set my phone aside. The silence was terrifying at first. Then it was peaceful. I took Lily to the beach the next weekend, just the two of us. Not some fancy rental house, but the public beach an hour away. We built sandcastles and collected shells and ate ice cream that dripped down our arms. She laughed, really laughed, for the first time since her birthday. This is fun, Mommy, she said, burying my feet in sand. Just us. Yeah, baby, it is. That night, after she was asleep, I let myself cry. Not because I missed them, but because I'd spent so many years trying to fit into a family that had never really made space for me. I'd been the youngest, the unexpected baby, the one who came along when my siblings were already teenagers. I'd always been an afterthought, and I'd accepted it as normal. But I wouldn't let Lily accept it. She deserved better. June passed, then July. I saw nothing from my family except one text from my father asking for the beach house address to send a package, which I ignored since I'd never been involved in the booking. Then August came, and with it, a tsunami. It started with a text from Jennifer at 6 in the morning. Sarah, did you know about this? I didn't respond. I was done. She called. I declined. She called again. I declined again. Then David called. Then Rachel. Then my mother. I was at work when I finally broke down and checked my voicemail. My mother's voice was shrill, panicked. Sarah, you need to call me back immediately. Your sister has been arrested. We need your help. My fingers were numb as I dialed. What happened? Rachel's been arrested for fraud. The police came this morning. Something about the beach house rental. Sarah, they're saying she never paid for it, that she took everyone's money and, her voice broke, we need to get her a lawyer. Can you help? Can you contribute to legal fees? I should have felt satisfaction. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. What exactly happened, Mom? The story came out in pieces, fragments I had to assemble like a puzzle. Rachel had set up the beach house rental months ago, had collected money from everyone. My parents, David, Jennifer, even some extended family I hadn't known were involved. Over $15,000 in total. She'd shown them all a listing, sent them confirmation numbers, built a whole elaborate story. But she'd never actually booked anything. The rental company had no record of any reservation. Rachel had doctored screenshots and created fake emails. She'd been planning to tell everyone at the last minute that the booking fell through and they'd have to cancel, but she'd keep the money. Except Jennifer's husband, Mike, who worked in real estate, had called the rental company directly to ask about early check-in options. The whole thing unraveled in 48 hours. She said she needed the money, my mother said, crying now. She said she and Tom were in financial trouble, that she was going to pay it all back before the vacation. She never meant to actually steal from family. But she did steal from family. Sarah, please, she's your sister. She made a mistake. Can you help with the lawyer? I thought about Lily's birthday party, about the police officers at my door, about being called selfish and ungrateful, about months of silence. No, Mom, I can't. What do you mean you can't? This is family. Family didn't show up to Lily's birthday. Family called the police on me for a theft I didn't commit. Family demanded money I didn't have. I'm sorry Rachel is in trouble, but I can't help. You're being vindictive. No, Mom, I'm being honest. I don't have money for a lawyer. I barely have money for my own bills. The difference is I know that and accept it. Rachel decided to steal from all of you instead. She's going to go to jail. That's between her and the justice system. My mother's voice turned venomous. You never cared about this family. You've always been selfish. Ever since you were born, you've been nothing but a burden and a disappointment. Something in me, something that had been holding on by a thread, finally snapped clean. You're right, Mom. I've been a disappointment to you. And you know what? That's okay. Because you've been a disappointment to me too. And more importantly, you've been a disappointment to Lily. She's 7 years old. And she learned this year that her grandmother values charity auctions more than her, that her aunts and uncles will lie to her face, that family is just a word people use when they want something from you. How dare you? I'm not finished. I spent 32 years trying to earn a place in this family, trying to be good enough, trying to be worth your time. But I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore, and I'm sure as hell not letting Lily learn to do it. So no, I won't help with Rachel's legal fees. I won't send money or visit her in jail or write character references. She made her choices. You all made your choices, and I'm making mine. I hung up while she was still sputtering. My hands shook so hard I had to set the phone down. My coworker Linda poked her head into my cubicle. You okay, hun? I just burned down my relationship with my entire family. She sat down in the chair across from me. The same family that called the cops on you? Yeah, that one. Then you didn't burn anything down. You just stopped rebuilding a house that kept collapsing on you. Over the next few weeks, the details emerged through the grapevine. Rachel had been taking money from the family for years, small amounts here and there, always with some excuse or urgent need. The beach house was just the biggest and most elaborate scheme. She and her husband Tom were drowning in debt from failed business ventures and shopping addictions. They'd been stealing from everyone. My parents were devastated. David was furious. Apparently, Rachel had borrowed $3,000 from him just 3 months before, promising to pay it back from her big commission at work. Jennifer's husband was pushing for maximum prosecution, and they all wanted to know why I had seen it coming, why I hadn't warned them. You knew she was like this, David said when he finally called me. You knew, didn't you? No, David, I didn't know. But I knew that when I couldn't afford something, I said I couldn't afford it. I didn't make up excuses or schemes. I just told the truth. We needed a lawyer reference for Rachel's case, character witness. You could have helped. I could have lied, you mean. You're enjoying this. No, I'm really not. I'm sad. I'm sad that this is who we are. But I'm not going to pretend anymore that we're something we're not. He hung up. September brought a cold snap and a letter from my mother. Not a text, not an email, but an actual letter on her cream-colored stationery. Dear Sarah, I've been thinking a lot about our last conversation. Your father says I should apologize, but I'm not sure what I'm apologizing for. I was a good mother. I gave you everything you needed. It's not my fault that you always felt like you weren't enough. But perhaps you're right that I should have come to Lily's party. Your father reminded me that we actually had nothing that day. The charity auction was the week before. I got the dates confused. By the time I realized, it seemed too late to admit I'd forgotten. Rachel is facing up to 5 years in prison. The lawyer says if we can get family members to speak on her behalf, show that she has support, it might help. I know you said no, but I'm asking again, mother to mother. Please help her. Please help us. Your mother, I read the letter 3 times. Put it in a drawer, took it out, read it again. She'd forgotten Lily's birthday party, just forgotten, and then lied about it rather than apologize. I wrote back, just 2 lines on a plain piece of paper. Mom, I forgive you for forgetting, but I can't help with Rachel. I hope you understand that some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. Sarah, the preliminary hearing was in October. I didn't go. Jennifer sent me a long email afterward, explaining that Rachel had taken a plea deal. 3 years probation, restitution, community service. No jail time, but a permanent criminal record. She's destroyed, Jennifer wrote. Tom left her. She had to move in with mom and dad. She lost her job. Her friends won't talk to her. The twins are in therapy. I hope you're happy. I wasn't happy, but I wasn't sad for Rachel either. I was sad for the twins, who were innocent in all this. I was sad for my parents, who were old and facing a reality they'd never imagined. But for Rachel, she'd made her choices, every single one, and now she was living with the consequence. Lily's 8th birthday came in November. This time, I kept it small. Just her school friends, the same Emma and Sophie and Marcus, plus a few new kids from her dance class. We had it at a trampoline park, and the kids screamed and laughed and burned off energy while I sat with the other parents and drank terrible coffee and felt light. No family, no expectations, then no disappointment. Your daughter is so sweet, Emma's mom said to me. She helped Emma the whole time with the harder jumps. She's a good kid, I said, watching Lily bounce with her hair flying. Does she see her dad much? No, he's not in the picture. Must be hard, doing it alone. I thought about that. Thought about the last year, the pain and the anger, and the slow, hard work of setting boundaries and walking away from people I'd loved my whole life. It's harder than being alone, I said finally. Being surrounded by people who make you feel alone. This isn't hard. This is just life. Christmas was strange, quiet. I'd expected sadness, expected to miss the chaos of family gatherings, even the dysfunctional ones. But instead, Lily and I made cookies and watched movies and opened presents on the floor in our pajamas. And it was perfect. My father called on Christmas Eve. Not my mother, not my siblings, just my father. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Dad. I wanted to wish Lily a Merry Christmas. She's asleep. I'll tell her you called. Silence. Then, your mother misses you. Does she? In her way, you know how she is. Yeah, Dad, I do. She's not going to apologize. You know that too. I know. So where does that leave us? I looked at the small Christmas tree in the corner, decorated with ornaments Lily and I had made together. Paper snowflakes and salt dough stars and candy canes. It leaves us here, Dad. You're welcome to visit any time. You're welcome to call Lily, to send cards, to be her grandfather. But I'm not coming back to family dinners where I'm an afterthought. I'm not participating in drama or schemes or lending money or being the emotional support for people who weren't there when I needed support. I'm just living my life. If that's something you can be part of without conditions, then we can have a relationship. If not, then this is goodbye. That's harsh, Sarah. It's honest. He sighed long and heavy. I'll think about it. Okay. Merry Christmas, Dad. Merry Christmas. He didn't call back. Not on New Year's, not on Lily's half-birthday in February when I texted him a photo, not on my birthday in March. But that was okay, because I'd learned something in the year since Lily's 7th birthday party. I'd learned that family is supposed to be the people who show up, who keep their promises, who value you not for what you can give them, but for who you are. And if the people you're related to can't do that, then they're just people. Blood doesn't make them more. Rachel finished her community service by spring. Jennifer told me she'd gotten a job at Target, was living in my parents' basement, was trying to make amends. She'd apparently asked about me, whether I would ever forgive her. What should I tell her? Jennifer asked. Tell her I hope she gets the help she needs. Tell her I hope she finds peace. But tell her I'm not part of that journey. She's your sister. She was my sister. Now she's a person who stole from people and called the police on me when I wouldn't participate. I don't have space in my life for that anymore. You've gotten cold, Sarah. No, Jennifer. I've gotten healthy. There's a difference. By summer, the texts and calls had mostly stopped. I heard through a friend of a friend that David and Claire had separated. Apparently, the stress of Rachel's situation had brought up old issues in their marriage. My mother had apparently told someone at church that I was going through a phase and would come back to the family eventually. I wouldn't, but I didn't need to tell her that. She'd figure it out. Lily turned 8.5 in May, and we celebrated with a beach day, just the two of us again. She collected shells and built castles, and told me about a boy in her class who'd shared his cookies with her at lunch. He's nice, she said, digging a moat. Not all kids are nice, but he is. What makes him nice? He keeps his promises, and he doesn't lie. And when he says he'll be your friend, he means it. I looked at my daughter, this wise little person I was raising, and felt something settle in my chest. She was learning the right lessons, not the ones my family had tried to teach me, that you accept whatever scraps people give you because family is family, but the real ones, that you deserve people who keep their promises, who tell the truth, who mean it when they say they care. Those are good things to look for in a friend, I said. Did your family keep their promises, Mommy? I could have lied. Could have given her some sanitized version about how adults are complicated and relationships are hard. Instead, I said, no, baby, they didn't. So you don't see them anymore? No. Are you sad? I thought about it, really thought about it. Sometimes. But I'm also happy, because now we get to choose our own family. We get to find people who do keep their promises. She nodded, satisfied, and went back to her castle. That night, after she was asleep, I sat on the back porch with a glass of wine and thought about karma. Not the cosmic kind, not some universal justice system. Just the simple fact that actions have consequence, and eventually, those consequences come due. Rachel had stolen from people who trusted her, and now she had no trust left. My mother had prioritized everything over her relationships, and now she was learning what it meant to lose those relationships. David and Jennifer and the rest had dismissed my pain, and now they were dealing with their own. I hadn't needed to do anything, hadn't needed revenge or confrontation or dramatic scenes. I just stepped back, set my boundaries, lived my life, and the truth had done the rest. The hard part wasn't standing up to them. The hard part was living with the grief of losing people I'd loved, even if they'd never loved me the way I needed. The hard part was accepting that some stories don't have happy endings, just endings. But there was freedom in it too. Freedom from the constant anxiety of trying to please people who couldn't be pleased. Freedom from the exhaustion of maintaining relationships that only flowed one way. Freedom to build something new, something better, something real. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hi, Sarah. This is Tom, Rachel's ex-husband. I wanted to reach out and apologize for my part in everything that happened. I knew Rachel was lying about things, and I didn't stop her. I'm in therapy now, and part of my recovery is making amends. I don't expect forgiveness or a response. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry, and that you were right to protect yourself and your daughter. I hope you're both doing well." I stared at the message for a long time, typed and deleted several responses, finally settled on, "Thank you for this. I appreciate the apology. I hope you find healing." It wasn't forgiveness, not really, but it was acknowledgement. And maybe that was enough. June came again, a full year since the beach house disaster. I got a notification that I'd been removed from the family group chat. Apparently someone had finally cleaned house. It made me laugh. I'd muted it over a year ago. The removal changed nothing. But what did change was this. Lily came home from the last day of school with an invitation. Emma's family was going camping for a week in July, and they wanted to know if Lily and I would come with them. They said it's not expensive, Lily said, her eyes hopeful. Emma's mom said they rented a big cabin, and we just need to chip in for food, and it would be like $50 maybe. Can we go, Mommy? Please? I looked at my daughter, at the invitation from people who'd shown up to her birthday party, who treated us with kindness, who were offering inclusion without strings attached. "Yeah, baby, we can go." She squealed and hugged me and ran to call Emma. And I sat there in the kitchen, in the late afternoon light, and realized this was what I'd been searching for all along. Not the family I was born into, but the family I could choose. Not people bound by blood, but by genuine care and respect, and showing up when they said they would. The balloons from Lily's 7th birthday were long gone. The cake was a distant memory. The hurt had faded to a dull ache. The kind you learn to live with like an old injury that twinges when it rains. But what remained was this: peace, hard won, carefully guarded, precious peace. I didn't need my family to apologize. I didn't need Rachel to learn her lesson, or my mother to admit she'd been wrong, or my siblings to suddenly understand why I'd walked away. I didn't need vindication, or validation, or revenge. I just needed this. My daughter, happy and healthy and learning what real love looks like. A life built on truth instead of obligation. Freedom from the weight of other people's expectations. Karma hadn't given me justice in the way I might have imagined. It hadn't struck my family down with lightning or given me some dramatic moment of vindication. Instead, it had simply let the natural consequences of their actions unfold while I stepped back and built something better. And in the end, that was the greatest justice of all. Not punishment, but peace. Not revenge, but release. Not winning, but simply walking away and discovering that the life on the other side of that choice was exactly the one I'd been meant to live all along. I texted Emma's mom. "We're in. Thank you for including us." She responded immediately. "So happy. Lily is such a sweet girl, and we love having you both. It's going to be a great week. Simple, honest, kind." I saved the message and felt something that had been clenched tight in my chest for years finally relax. This was family. Not the one I was born into, but the one I chose. And it was more than enough.